Farzad, it's a pleasure having your work here at Agora Gallery in this wonderful exhibition.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed by your paintings, which for me reveal a great deal of mystery about the human form.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know, you don't complete the face necessarily. You leave, for instance, the mouth is missing. Is there a reason why you do that?
Yeah, I try to simplify the figures. Maybe my background as a graphic designer also has some influence to that. Of course, as you know, that takes so much time to rehearse, exercise, practice
Right.
to understand the anatomy and illustrate it properly. I believe it takes even more to break through that knowledge to finally you can give a message with your art, maybe a deeper message. That's why I try to break through these standards for human's body, and I usually only illustrate or draw or paint the eye, mouth when I try to emphasize on seeing or talking or saying something. Otherwise, I simplify the figure, and I don't.
You don't include the mouth because I feel as though the figure itself, the form, the human form, becomes incorporated into a symbolic language.
Yes,
and
exactly.
so to me it feels as though the painting is not segmented in some way that would elicit a response to the human body other than the painting as a whole, because of the language you are communicating in through the painting. It's almost calligraphic, but in a fascinating way, because the body becomes distorted and becomes a part of whatever else is going on within the painting.
Yes.
Here's-
Yeah, actually, you're totally right. On some of my paintings, sometimes the audience think that I have written something. There is an actual calligraphy, but I only use the technique. On some of my paintings, I use almost the same thing, like calligraphy, without having any word or any sentence. For these,
it's a design element rather than a script which is communicating something. As a graphic designer,
yes.
That makes sense then to me that you would use these calligraphic almost symbols as an end all rather than communicating anything specific.
Yeah. Another thing that I try to, maybe I don't have the eyes or mouth on the figures, but I work a lot on the hands, on the figure of the hands, and the impression of the hands. I think just this hand has ability to to fully express those impressions just by a figure of the hand.
Right, but some of them are. It's interesting because I find them very. There's an aspect of these forms that I find a little uncomfortable, but at the same time they're fascinating enough and interesting enough to give me a sense of unity because of what's happening in them. I mean, here in this one, for instance, you have these branches and things growing through the arm, but yet this figure here is actually an instrument. So I'm curious to know what you had in mind when you were when you're creating this piece.
Generally. My style is a little bit too similar or close to dark arts, but I don't consider it like that. I understand that it looks a bit different, unusual, sometimes weird or a little bit scary to many people, but I personally don't think it should be considered as a dark art, because I just try to push the boundaries of logical, let's say logical boundaries.
Yes.
And what I paint is very similar. Maybe it can be seen in a dream. On a
Yes.
dream, when you dream something like this, usually you don't wonder why it's like that, because you know the standards or the logics that is happening on awakeness, there is no such thing on dreams.
Right, it's happening on a whole different subconscious level. I understand. I don't see it necessarily as the dark side. I see it more mystic.
Yes.
So it's more spiritual or mysticism rather than dark. But
Yes.
there is an edgy kind of feeling to them,
Yes.
which is good, because
Yeah.
I think that certainly what that does is there's that element there that makes, I think, people who see the work wonder what is happening and what's going on. And yet it's very enigmatic, certainly imbued with mystery and wonder and otherworldly, I would say. Yeah. Very nice, very
Perfect.
good work.
Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's really quite an accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate all your help and support during not only this exhibition, to all the promotion and all the work you and other staffs at Agora Gallery are helping us with.
Well, we're delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.